Boom, there go the lights. Yeah, you heard me. The entire neighborhood just blinked off the face of the earth. Are we panicking? Of course we are. Nothing says good times like stumbling around in the dark, kicking the coffee table and cursing up a storm. So the power's out. Now what? You gonna light some romantic candles and channel your inner caveman? Scroll TikTok until your phone dies? Or maybe sit there flicking the light switch on and off as if that'll magically summon the electricity gods? Spoiler alert, all of those are terrible ideas. I'm here with a friendly PSA, that's please stop the amateur hour. 3 things you should never do when the power goes out. These tips might just save your gadgets, your groceries, and possibly your life. So listen up. Blackouts are more common than we'd like. Hurricanes, ice storms, wildfires, you name it. It's like the universe hitting Control plus Alt plus Delete on your city. Or, as the IT crowd says, have you tried turning it off and on again? Since you can't fix the grid from your couch, let's focus on not making things worse. People do some unbelievably dumb stuff the minute the lights go out. I'm talking next level, hold my beer kind of dumb. So with a dash of sarcasm, okay, a bucketful, and some real talk, let's count down the top 3 mistakes you need to avoid like the plague during a blackout. Grab a flashlight and put down that candle, and let's get into it. Mistake number 1, lighting up trouble. Candles and generators in all the wrong places. So the power's out and you're thinking, no problem, I'll just light a few candles, maybe fire up the grill indoors for warmth. What could go wrong? Oh, I don't know. Everything. If your emergency plan involves turning your living room into a medieval dungeon lit by open flame, we need to talk. Those candles might seem quaint until you knock one over while fumbling around, and suddenly you're reenacting a scene from Backdraft. One family in Georgia learned this the hard way. After Hurricane Helene knocked out power, they lit a candle and ended up losing their entire house to a fire. All it took was a tiny flame at the wrong time, and their home, and everything in it, was gone. And this is not an isolated incident. During the Northeast blackout of 2003, New York City saw 60 major fires in one night, mostly caused by people using candles for light. That's about 10 times more fires than usual. And let's not forget the other brilliant idea people try, dragging the charcoal grill or generator inside. I get it. You want heat or to charge your phone, but please, do I really have to say this? Don't run gasoline generators, grills, or car engines indoors. Unless you're auditioning for the Darwin Awards, just don't. Because if the open flames don't get you, the carbon monoxide will. Carbon monoxide is that invisible, odorless gas that silently kills people after storms, and it's tragically common. Remember the big Texas freeze in 2021? Millions lost power in sub-freezing temperatures. And guess what? 19 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning because they ran generators, BBQ grills, or cars in enclosed spaces to stay warm. They survived the cold, but not the fumes. After Hurricane Laura in Louisiana, the majority of storm-related deaths weren't from wind or floods. They were from people running generators improperly and getting gassed by CO. In fact, you're more likely to die from carbon monoxide poisoning than from the storm itself if you misuse a generator. Harsh, but true. So, mistake number 1 in a nutshell, thinking it's okay to use flames or fuel-burning gadgets in all the wrong places. Candles might create a nice ambiance for about 5 minutes until you set your curtains on fire. And running a generator or grill indoors? You're basically creating a gas chamber for yourself, not exactly a brilliant survival strategy. As the Missouri Department of Public Safety bluntly puts it, never use candles as a light source during outages, and generators should never be operated indoors. Those official warnings exist because too many people have literally burned down their homes or poisoned themselves trying to get a little light or heat. What to do instead? Get yourself some flashlights and LED lanterns before you need them. We live in the 21st century. There's no excuse not to have a few battery-powered lights stashed in a drawer. They're cheap, they won't burn your house down, and bonus, they don't make your living room smell like a campfire. If you need backup power for essentials, use a generator safely. That means outside, far from windows, with the exhaust pointing away from the house. Yes, you might have to brave the elements to refuel it, but that beats not braving them ever again because you filled your home with CO. Better yet, consider investing in a modern battery backup power station. Here comes the only semi-salesy pitch, but trust me, it's worth it. Instead of a gas-guzzling generator that belches fumes, you can have a silent battery box in your garage ready to kick in when the grid dies. For example, something like the Blue Apex 300, basically a high-tech power bank for your house. This thing provides about 2.7 kilowatt-hours of energy with serious wattage output, enough to keep your fridge, lights, and Wi-Fi running without a hiccup. In fact, the Apex 300 can act as an uninterruptible power supply, UPS. When the power goes out, it switches over instantly, so your lights and fridge stay on without even blinking. No noisy engine kicking in, no fumes, no drama. With roughly 3,840 watts of output, a unit like that can handle heavy-duty appliances. Yes, your coffee maker or space heater could stay on. And it's efficient, only about a 20W idle drain, meaning it can run critical stuff like a refrigerator for a full day or more on a single charge. So while your neighbors are shivering in the dark, burning their furniture for warmth, don't laugh, it's happened, you could be the one house on the block quietly humming along with cold drinks and a charged phone. All joking aside, the point is, don't resort to literal fire and combustion if you can avoid it. Prepare some safe light sources and maybe invest in modern backup power. But if nothing else, at least avoid turning your home into a bonfire or gas chamber. Surviving a disaster only to create a new one is the ultimate irony. Let's not go there. Mistake number 2. Raiding the fridge and other resource fumbles. All right, the lights are out. You've, hopefully, sorted the lighting situation and kept the generator outside. Now on to the next temptation, your refrigerator. I know, suddenly that fridge is like a beacon of hope and hunger. You're bored, you're stressed, maybe a little snacky, so you figure you'll just open it up real quick and see what's inside. Maybe check if the milk's still cold or grab a slice of cheese. Stop right there. Every time you open that fridge, cold air rushes out and warm air rushes in. You're basically sabotaging your own food supply. There's a reason every disaster guide says to keep the fridge and freezer doors shut during an outage. According to the USDA, a refrigerator will keep food safely cold for about 4 hours during a power outage, if you don't open the door. A full freezer can hold its temperature for roughly 24 to 48 hours without power, as long as you keep the lid closed. But those numbers go out the window if you're standing there staring into the abyss every 10 minutes. Hate to break it to you, but the light inside the fridge isn't coming back on until the rest of the lights do. Think of your fridge like a big cooler. You want to keep that cold air trapped inside. So when the power's out, resist the urge to treat the fridge like your personal snack cabinet that you check and recheck out of habit. Know what you need. Get in and get out quickly, then leave it alone. If the outage might last a while, you can consolidate essentials, milk, lunch meat, etc., into a cooler with ice. That way you're not opening the main fridge repeatedly. But whatever you do, don't keep peeking in there hoping your orange juice magically stayed ice cold while the power's off. One Florida guide busts a common misconception. Keeping the fridge door open will not prevent bad smells or help anything. It just lets the cold air escape and makes your food spoil faster. You're not airing it out, you're warming it up. Also, be smart about food safety. Just because something looks fine after a few hours doesn't mean it's safe to eat. The clock is ticking on your perishables as soon as the power goes. If the outage stretches on, remember this mantra. When in doubt, throw it out. The FDA says any perishable food, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, leftovers, that's been above 40 degrees Fahrenheit for 4+ hours may not be safe to eat. Don't trust the sniff test or the, well, it seems okay logic bacteria that can make you sick. Don't always produce a funky smell. The last thing you need during a blackout is a case of food poisoning. No power and you're glued to the toilet by flashlight? No thanks. So if it's been too long or you're just not sure, ditch it. Case in point. After the 2003 Northeast blackout, tons of perishable food had to be thrown out across cities due to spoilage. Now, the fridge isn't the only resource people fumble. Let's talk about your phone and other battery-powered gadgets. Power's out, Wi-Fi is likely down, and boredom sets in. It's super tempting to fire up Netflix on your phone or endlessly scroll social media to pass the time. But if you drain your phone battery on Candy Crush, what happens when you actually need it? You might have to call for help or get critical updates on the outage. If your phone's dead, you're cut off. So don't burn through your phone charge out of boredom. Switch on low power mode, dim the screen, and use your phone sparingly. Maybe text friends or check news briefly, but resist marathon TikTok sessions. Heck, break out a book or a board game, or have an actual conversation, gasp, with your family. Preserve that battery like it's gold. You'll thank yourself if the outage drags on longer than expected. In short, mistake number 2 is wasting your limited supplies and energy because you're not thinking ahead. Don't stand there holding the fridge door open, and don't mindlessly drain devices you might need later. Use your food wisely. Eat the perishables first. Cook what you can on a grill outside if you have to. And stretch out your battery life on electronics. It's all about making what you have last until the power comes back. Mistake number 3. Leaving everything on, setting yourself up for a shock. Imagine this. The power's been out for hours, maybe days. You've left every switch and appliance exactly as they were when the outage hit. Then at 3 a.m., without warning, bzzzt, the power comes back. Suddenly the house lights up like a stadium, the TV blares on, the microwave starts beeping, your computer reboots, and, oh yes, that electric stove burner you forgot to turn off is now heating up the stack of mail and pizza box you left on top. This is not a drill. This is how you accidentally burn your house down after the power outage. One of the dumbest, yet common mistakes, is failing to turn off or unplug things when the power goes out. I get it. You're preoccupied dealing with the dark and you assume everything's off because, well, no electricity. But if the power comes roaring back while you're asleep or away, all those devices will spring to life, and some in dangerous ways. Ever had the lights all come on at once after an outage? It's startling. Now imagine every appliance doing the same. Your circuits and electronics get hit with a surge of electricity after being idle, and that can fry your gadgets or even spark a fire. Without protection, a sudden restoration can overload devices. That's why experts say to unplug or switch off appliances during an outage to avoid that surge damage when the juice returns. Take your kitchen, for example. There have been plenty of incidents where people were cooking when the outage struck and then forgot to turn the stove off. When power came back, the stove kept heating with nobody watching. A fire marshal in Virginia described cases where folks left a pot on the stove or, in one story, removed the food but didn't realize the burner knob was still on. Then they plopped a pizza box on the stove, and when power returned, whoosh, the box ignited. Cue kitchen fire. It's shockingly easy to do in the chaos of an outage. Same goes for things like irons, space heaters, or hair curlers. If they were on and you don't flip the switch, they'll be live again when electricity returns, potentially sparking a fire or causing damage. Even if no fire starts, having everything draw power at once can strain your electrical system. When electricity is restored, you might get a big voltage spike. If all your electronics are still plugged in, that spike can damage them. Think fried circuit boards, TVs, computers, game consoles, poof. Surge protectors can help, but they're not foolproof. A massive jolt can still toast your electronics if you're unlucky. So why risk it? Here's the smart move. The moment the power goes out, turn off or unplug the big stuff. Go around and switch off lights, heaters, the oven, the washer, dryer, whatever was running. Leave one lamp on so you'll know when the power comes back. You'll see it light up and think, oh, we're back. But everything else can stay off until things stabilize. That way you're in control when the power returns. You turn your devices and appliances back on one by one, rather than having your house go from 0 to 60 all at once, like some wild poltergeist party. And for those using a generator during the outage, be sure to shut it off and safely reconnect to grid power when electricity is restored. Use a proper transfer switch if you have one. The last thing you want is to send power back into the grid or zap a utility crew because you forgot the generator was still feeding your house. But I digress. The main point here is to avoid the post-outage chaos. Don't be the person who survives 2 days of blackout only for your TV to get fried or your kitchen to catch fire when the lights come back on. Those are the big 3, folks. 1. Don't light your house on fire or gas yourself trying to see in the dark. 2. Don't spoil all your food or waste batteries by being careless. And 3. Don't set yourself up for disaster when the power comes back. Avoid these, and you'll already be way ahead of the curve next time the grid goes down. Bonus tip: don't call 911 just to complain that the power's out. They can't help, and you're just diverting 911 resources from real emergencies. Call your utility's outage line instead. Look, power outages are no picnic. Best case, they're a short inconvenience. Worst case, they're a days-long saga. Picture yourself wrestling your neighbor for the last pack of D batteries at Walmart. But as we've seen, how you handle those dark hours can make a huge difference. You can either be the person who ends up on the news for burning down their house with a tea light, or the calm, collected neighbor who actually thought things through. Maybe you even have that sexy Bluetti Apex 300 battery box humming along, making you the hero of the block, charging everyone's phones and saving the ice cream from melting. Hey, if you've got backup power and extra ice cream, sharing is good karma and might earn you some friends for the next crisis. At the end of the day, a little common sense and preparation go a long way. If you caught yourself thinking, "Yikes, I might have done that," about any of these mistakes, well, now you know better. Next time the power goes out, you'll handle it like a pro. Light up safely, keep that fridge shut, conserve your juice, and disconnect what needs disconnecting so nothing blows when the power's back. Instead of panicking, you'll be chilling with a flashlight and maybe telling ghost stories, making the best of a bad situation. Got any crazy blackout stories or smart tips of your own? Share them in the comments. We'd love to hear them, and we promise not to judge much. If you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk survival tips and home hacks. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you know when I post the next guide on how not to accidentally blow yourself up. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with the lights on.